Bonjour and welcome to a new unboxing video, and today's retro figures again. Yes, again, it seems to me that there's only retro figures being released at the moment, which is nice. I love them, but it would be nice to have something a bit different, don't you think? Anyway, this box comes from our friends at Super 7, and it's a brand new line that they're releasing, which I think is actually very cool. You're going to see it in a few minutes. Basically, in the 60s, 50s and 60s, in the USA, people started to worry about the degree of violence that was featured in comic books. And there was this guy called Dr. Wertham who actually published a book called Seduction of the Innocents, in which he was actually explaining how comic books were corrupting the little children. For example, Batman and Robin, that was a very odd situation that they had together, because I mean, it was a bit strange. All of those things created a kind of paranoia of the comic books, and a company like EC Comics, that was only publishing horror and gore and violence comic books, went under because I mean they couldn't publish anything else. And basically that's when the comic book companies decided to get together and to create something called the Comics Code Authority, which was actually a self-regulating organization that would actually check if everything that was appearing in the comic book was allowed. For example, you couldn't picture werewolves, you couldn't picture, I mean, there were plenty of things that shouldn't be shown in a comic book, blood, that kind of thing. So basically from the 60s to about the 90s, I think they dropped the comic in the 90s for most books. That was this really strange organization that was regulating the comics. But that's another story, and we don't have time for that. And because of that, Super 7 actually decided to create a line of action figures celebrating the pre-comic book code comic book covers and illustrations. So they released this line that has actually 4 figures, which is called Horror Action Figures from the pre-code era, and they are absolutely fantastic. There's 4 figures in there. There is the Ghostly Wild Stories, which is, this one is Commander Ben Woodruff. You have from Chilling Stories, you do have the Graveyard Ghoul. Ooh. From Black Cat Mystery, you do have the Radium Man. And from Baffling Mysteries, you do have the Seaweed Monster. So basically that's the idea. You see, the concept is basically you take a cover from an old comic book. I'm pretty sure that all of those are in public domain as well, so there's no licensing fee, which is great. And you do have for each figure representation, basically the cover of the comic book and everything. So we're going to see them now in detail, because I had a very, very quick look with you, but now we're going to see what they actually look like. So we'll start with the Radium Man from Black Cat Mystery. So you do have at the front, you do have the cover from that Black Cat Mystery issue, and in the back you do have the list of all 4 figures with a little bit of the, basically you've got the story of the character on each. I think those are extremely cool, because it really looks like those old adverts that you would find in American comic books. So we're going to open them. They do say that each frightful figure is displayed within a collectible card bag featuring classic artwork from the past. Ooh. Anyway, let's go and open those. So here you go. Here is Radium Man. So Radium Man, as you can see, is absolutely fantastic. I'm trying to make sure that you see him in the best way possible, because I mean this sculpt is absolutely amazing. So he does have, of course, because it's Super 7, it's 5 points of articulation. So you do have the head, you do have the arms and legs as usual. I do find those are extremely colorful, which I really like, and it does come with an accessory, which is of course a radium rod, which you can actually put in his hand. So here you go, that's the first one, Radium Man. He looks absolutely incredible. Then we're going to go for the second one. Let's go with Chilling Tales. So Chilling Tales, as you can see, once again you've got an incredible comic book cover here. The back is exactly the same, so let's not bother with the back again, but this is absolutely fantastic. So I can tell you that a Radium Man, the Graveyard Ghoul, because that is the Graveyard Ghoul, what do they say, is a dark and desolate graveyard where this hairy and red-eyed fiend is captured feasting on the dead human body. Ooh. So that's basically, it's just to give you an example of the little text that are appearing on the back. I think it's really fun because they did completely capture the essence of what those pre-code era comic books were. So you see that's what I mean with the fact that the blisters are harder. It's actually more difficult to get the items out of the blister. So here we go. Here is the Graveyard Ghoul. Once again, I mean, this is a fantastic sculpt. He looks absolutely incredible. I love it. And he's got his little tail. The tail is articulated, so you can actually well, you can wind him up if you want. Of course, the head is articulated and the arms are articulated and legs as well. So here you go, that's the Graveyard Ghoul. It doesn't come with any accessory. I suppose they couldn't put like a stump of an arm or something like that to go with it, but he looks absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love it. So that's the Graveyard Ghoul. And then we're going to finish with there's still two more to go. We do have from Baffling Mysteries, we do have the Seaweed Monster. Once again, this is an incredible artwork from that time, and it's just I'm having a huge amount of fun with those, because originally I wasn't going to get them, and then I thought, oh well, you know, I do like that artwork, I do like the figures, I think they're fantastic, so let's go for it. So here is the Seaweed Monster. Once again, I mean, this is an incredible sculpt. I'm actually very surprised. It's probably the most detailed sculpts I've seen on a Super 7 figure in a very long time. The only one that were a bit like that were the Mars Attacks, I think. But this is absolutely fantastic. So he does have, of course, articulated head, even though with the beard it's a bit limited, articulated arm and articulated legs, and it doesn't come with any accessory. I think that the only one that came with an accessory was Radium Man. So that is really fantastic, the Seaweed Monster. And we've got one last one to see, which is I think the nicest of the four, and it is Ghostly Wired Stories, and it is Commander Ben Woodruff. I'm going to tell you what they say about it, which is the this wondrous drive. Oh, sorry. I should put my glasses on. His wondrous drives him to return to space, but his earthly knowledge of rocket science, well, basically he gets lost. I should have put my glasses on. Anyway, so here is the Commander Ben Woodruff, and I think the artwork is just incredible, don't you think? It's brilliant. I really love those. So let's see. Here is Commander Ben Woodruff. Doesn't he look absolutely incredible? I mean, that sculpt is brilliant. You do have the severed hair air tubes, and basically what is amazing is that it almost looks like there is two, almost like there's two layers. That's how good the figure is painted. The paint job is really nice because you can see where the outfit is torn apart. It's really very, very beautifully done. So here you go. You can remove, of course, the helmet, so you can see him in all his gory detail, and he looks fantastic. So let's put back this, and so here you go. Of course, he's got the head isn't. Is the head articulated inside? Yes, the head is articulated, so you do have an articulated head. Let's give him his helmet back, and of course he does have the arms, which are a bit more spindly, and of course the articulation for the leg is a bit different from the others because he actually spreads his leg. I can't remember what I think it's called delta pelvis, or I can't remember the name of it. If you remember how they called that type of articulation, which was very much something that Playmates was doing in the 80s and 90s with their lines, please put a comment below. So here you go. That's the last one of that series. So we do have Commander Ben Woodruff, we do have Radium Man, we do have the Graveyard Ghoul, and we do have the Seaweed Monster. They're really, really fantastic little action figures, and I absolutely love them. And I'll speak to you again soon. And I don't know, maybe it will be more retro figures. Bye.